In continuation with the previous session, where we have been discussing the trivial nomenclature for the saturated systems of hydrocarbon, that is, we've discussed about paraffins. Now let's discuss about olefins. And first of all, we must know what are these compounds. So generally these are the compounds where I can say that unsaturated hydrocarbons containing 2 hydrogen atoms less than that of paraffins, or I can say there is a double bond between 2 carbon atoms. You're getting it? There is a double bond between 2 carbon atoms. Those such type of compounds are generally called as olefins, and this is a fine Latin word where oleum means oil and fiant is generally called as making. These are mostly oil making compounds or oily compounds, I must say. And in paraffins we have understood that we add a suffix "-ane", and over here we add a suffix "-ene", and if it's an alkyne, if it's an alkene we must add a suffix "-ene", and if it's an paraffin we must add a suffix "-ane". Okay, paraffins are also generally called as alkanes, you must remember. And generally now the first compound of this series will be C2H4, which is chemically known as like this, or chemically known as ethylene in the trivial system. And we must know, I can tell you a hint. These names can be derived by substituting the suffix "-ane" of the corresponding paraffin by "-ylene". You're getting it? Suppose let's take ethane. In place of, we know ethane's general formula is C2H6, and it's about number 2, n is equals to 2, and here n is also equals to 2. And in place of "-ane", if we substitute "-ylene", then this compound becomes an olefin. For the corresponding paraffin we must substitute "-ylene", then we are going to get the compound easily. So now let's take another example, CH3 CH double bond CH2. This corresponding paraffin will be propane, and instead of "-ane" I'm going to write "-ylene", like propylene. This is generally called as propylene. And now let's take another example, CH2 CH double bond CH2, and I can say this was butane in paraffin, and if I remove "-ane" and add "-ylene", this is going to be butylene. And let's discuss about alkenyls. If I remove one hydrogen from alkene or olefins, if I remove one hydrogen from these compounds, then I'm going to get an alkenyl, just like how I got alkyl from alkanes. You're getting it? CH2. This, as I've told you, this is the first compound of the olefin series, and this is generally called as ethene. And if I remove one hydrogen from it and then it's going to be alkenyl. And how to name this compound? So generally remove "-ene" from this "-ene" and add "-yl". You're getting it? From alkenyl, remove this "e" and add "-yl", then you're going to get this alkenyl. This is generally called as ethene. Then I can call this as, what I'm going to get here, we are going to get CH, and what will I be calling this? Ethenyl. Or we have a chemical standard name for this, generally it's called as vinyl. And similarly, let's take another example, CH2 double bond CH single bond CH3, and if I remove one hydrogen atom from this, then I'm going to get CH2 from the terminal side, CH2 CH2. Then this I can call it as, where the double bond is present, I'll be discussing this as nomenclature for the standard, propenyl. or we have a chemical standard name that is allyl. You getting it? This is a standard trivial name from the ancient times. And now discuss about acetylenes in the next page. So now let's discuss about acetylenes. And first we must know, as I've told you, what does this compounds generally mean. So these are the unsaturated hydrocarbons of generally 4 hydrogens less than corresponding paraffin, or I can say that I can simply put it like there is one triple bond between 2 carbons. One triple bond between 2 carbons is generally called as acetylenes. So now let's discuss about very simplest one, that is C2H2. Simplest of this all the acetylene. This is the simplest compound, or I can say it as first member of the series. So now let's say this chemical structure should will become like CH triple bond CH, and very much similar to that of alkenes. We can write this nomenclature also. So we will be calling this as acetylene. And let's look at another example, CH3 C triple bond CH. This is generally called as an allylene, or we can even name this as methyl acetylene. This is the general function acetylene, and there is a methyl group added to this methyl acetylene. Acetylene, you're getting it? So if you want to know about how are alkenyls formed, then I must say, if from an alkyne, if one hydrogen atom is removed, then we are going to get this compound. And how can I give the nomenclature to this? Simple, remove this E and add YL. So as I've told you, this is generally an acetylene. Now removing one hydrogen from this will be making it like CH triple bond C. Now this will become ethynyl. Getting it? That's it. That's now that will be about acetylenes, and that is about trivial nomenclature of organic compounds. And if there are any more, we will be discussing any further example or solved problems.